You guys want to come out? Well, it's been a few days since we saw you guys. I think the last video we posted was our cabin trip, and it was just like a busy week for us. We got back from the cabin, we had unpacking to do, we had relaxing to do, we had more packing to do. Rachel got all of her carrots planted, which is cool. She didn't bring you guys along. It was one of those, I got like 30 minutes to get this done. I'm gonna run out to the garden, get my carrots planted, because there was rain coming too. So we've had quite a few days this week. It was just like really rainy days and just kind of crappy. So thus the reason for a lack of videos this week. Oh, another part. Today, April 9th, just happens to be Rachel's birthday. And tomorrow, April 10th, is our daughter Abigail's birthday. So last year at this time, our daughter's in the United States Navy. And at this time last year, she was stationed in Great Lakes near Chicago. This year, she's stationed over in San Diego, California. Well, last year for their birthday, they came up with this plan of, let's have a girls' weekend. Mama's gonna come to Chicago. We'll spend the whole weekend together. We'll go shopping. Well, COVID kind of squashed that whole thing, and we're like, nope, we're not gonna do it this year. So this year they're making up for it, and Rachel took off yesterday morning. Keep my days straight. Yeah, yesterday morning, flew out to California. They rented a little like Airbnb place right on the beach in La Jolla, if I remember right. So they're having a great time. They're going hiking, they're going out to eat all these different places. They got the whole weekend planned. So no Rachel this weekend, but I'll be with you guys. I'll take you guys along. And the turkeys and the chickens. I wanted to update you guys on how they're doing. They are all doing well. The turkeys are probably twice the size they are as when we bought them, maybe close to 3 times. The little baby chickens are maybe double the size. No casualties. They're all doing well. There was a couple of the ones, I think the red ones got like that nasty butt or pasty butt or whatever it's called. So Rachel takes them in the house every couple of days and cleans their little booty off. But they're doing better now. No more nasty butt, and doing well out here outdoors. Temperatures have been warmer. We still have their little heater in there that they can crawl under and get warm. These little ones, they keep wanting to come out. Come on. We let them all come out. Sometimes we'll open up the door and just run around the chicken tractor on really nice days like today. We'll leave them out for an hour, 2 hours, something like that, and come and scoop them all back up and put them back in their little coop. I just absolutely love their personalities. You'll get them on a nice warm day like this, and they'll come out in the sun and stretch their wings like they're sunbathing, and I'm already starting to see some of them puff up their chest and run towards each other like, I'm tougher than you, I'm the big brother. Oh, there goes again. Some double check the water. Hey, little guy. Hi. Well, we're out here. They've been doing good. Food. Yeah, they could use some new food. I don't know. To go in and refresh that. Hey, you want some lunch? And I got dandelions everywhere, grass is growing. I'm gonna have to mow soon. Some of you had questions about our baby pine trees that we brought home. Where are you gonna plant them? How are you gonna plant them? Why are you planting them there? And this is our back pasture area of our property. It's about 4 acres and we don't really do a whole lot with it right now. And the brown section you see over here is my neighbor's property. The green part is ours. And we planted them kind of along this property line. We're trying to plant all kinds of different trees here just to create a barrier between our neighbor's property and ours. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 different pine trees and evergreen trees now. And we want to start mixing in some other things, maybe some maples, maybe some fruit trees, and maybe some berry bushes along the way. Just to create like both a windbreak and like a property line, and also just for a little bit of privacy. Our neighbors don't really use the back part of their property, so they're never back there anyways, but I just think over time, you know, like 10, 15, 20 years from now, it'd be really cool to have some nice mature trees along all the borders of our property. So these little guys have been in the ground for 5 days so far. They're doing excellent. I'm not seeing any yellowing of any of the needles. There's some fresh needles starting to grow. We didn't really do too much special when we planted them. We dug a nice big hole. Rachel mixed in some of the native soil with some peat moss, just a little bit. Kind of raised the acidity of the soil a little bit. And then put the little trees in there, backfilled it, and then we had some leaf mulch left over that I harvested from our yard last fall for Rachel's garden, and she didn't end up using it all. So we just created a little donut shape kind of around just to keep some moisture in. This spring's been really weird. It's like we have like, it's either too wet or too dry for like long periods of time. So it'll at least give them a spot where we can conserve and harvest some moisture and then use it during the dry days. But there's one more little tree back there I want to show you real quick. And this poor little guy, and I poor because this little tree came in a little tube. It was a plastic tube about this tall with this tiny little sapling inside of it. And somebody that we know gave them away as a wedding favor for like their guests at their wedding. And we ended up somehow with like 3 of these things. Somebody, I don't remember the story. Rachel does. Not important. But 2 years ago, we planted these things in little pots up by our house, and they did great. They survived the first winter. Spring came on, they did great. Survived the second winter. This spring came on, and I started messing with them. I put some of that barn clean out around them in the pot, and it totally shocked the system, and all of his needles turned brown. One of them's dead. This one I think might make it. We planted him out here the same day we planted those other little trees, and his needles are starting to turn green again, like from like the stem. They were all brown and now there's fresh green coming out. So this little guy might survive. There was 3 of them. One I definitely killed. The other 2 we planted out here, and I'm hoping they make it. I came out and checked on them yesterday, and some kind of critter came along and dug a huge hole right here. I don't know if it was a coyote or raccoon. Something came out here and dug, which is weird because we didn't use any type of fertilizer. We didn't like bury a fish with our tree or something like that. So I don't know why a critter came and dug the tree up, but I kind of buried him back in. And this little guy, I hope he survives. I took such good care of him for 2 years, and then I started messing with him. So many years ago, I came back from a trip, and when I got home, I emptied out my cooler, I put the food away, I put the drinks away, and I closed the lid, and I let it sit there. About 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I went to use the cooler again, and I opened it up, and of course, it filled with some mysterious black mold. And I had to really go at it pretty hard with some heavy duty bleach to try to get it clean. Eventually I got it back to normal. But I'm curious if I'm the only person in the world who's like this. Because that one event happened, every time I use one of my coolers now, when I get home, I'll spray it down with a really mild bleach cleaner, rinse the thing out, let it dry completely, and then put the thing away. It may not be like totally necessary. I may not have to do this every single time depending on what was in my cooler, but yet it's what I do. It's like stuck in my head now. So if you guys have this same type of thing where you do something weird like this because of something that happened once, let me know. I want to hear your story.